Around 1493, during his second voyage to the New World, Christopher Columbus discovered the island of Puerto Rico. The island is located between the Caribbean Sea and the North Atlantic Ocean. Puerto Ricans are a mestizo people, ethnically derived from the native Taino and mixed with the Spaniard and African bloodlines that emerged to the island by the influx of European conquest. The contributions of Puerto Ricans in the United States have been significant even before the enactment of the Jones Act of 1917, which granted Puerto Ricans American citizenship. In 1898, after the USA defeated Spain during the Spanish-American War, Spain ceded the territories of Philippine Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico to the United States. Puerto Rico, officially a Commonwealth, still remains a territorial status to this day. Military contribution. Many Puerto Ricans lived stateside even before the cessation of the island. Since the Revolutionary War, Puerto Ricans had established a military presence in the armed forces of the United States. Lieutenant Augusto Rodriguez joined the 15th Connecticut Volunteer Infantry on July 23, 1862. His regiment fought during the Civil War, serving in the defense of the District of Washington. While World War I was raging, the United States Congress passed into law the Jones Act, granting Puerto Ricans American citizenship, therefore making Puerto Ricans eligible to be drafted by the U.S. military. As citizens, Puerto Ricans have participated in major military engagements from World War I onward. During the Korean War, members of the 65th Infantry Regiment distinguished themselves in combat and were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. The Borinqueniers, as they are known, have received tribute all around the state and the country. 2 years ago, here in the city of Bridgeport, State Representative Chris Rosario spearheaded a campaign which led to a portion of State Route 127 in Bridgeport being designated the Borinqueniers Memorial Highway. Not only have our servicemen fought and died in the defense of this nation, but also were used as human experiments by the United States Armed Forces. On Panama's San Jose Island, Puerto Rican soldiers were intentionally exposed to mustard gas in order to see if the reaction was any different to that of their white counterparts. The San Jose Project tested some 60,000 American soldiers. Puerto Ricans and African Americans were singled out as possible shock troops that could be used on the front lines in case of chemical attacks. 2/3 of the island of Puerto Rico was used for military bases as well. The U.S. Navy used a large portion of the island of Vieques for bombing and military exercises for 60 years, finally closing its operations on 2003. Overall, around 1,300 Puerto Rican soldiers have died while in the service of this nation. An influx of Puerto Rican migration became more apparent during the 1940s and 50s with the launching of Operation Bootstrap, an ambitious industrialization effort leading to the first mass migration of Puerto Ricans to the mainland. Cheap labor and attractive tax incentive laws attracted many American companies to the island, and soon after, the Puerto Rican economy was firmly grounded in manufacturing and tourism. Although initially touted as an economic miracle, by the 1960s, Operation Bootstrap was hampered by growing unemployment, fostering the largest migration of Puerto Ricans to the United States. Having moved Puerto Rico away from its agrarian system into an industrial economy resulted in a process of expulsion of population from the countryside. In the 1950s, there was 200,000 agricultural workers employed. By the 1960s, it had decreased to about 120,000. The decrease in the agricultural sector affected overall employment in the island, and even with a new manufacturing industry, was not enough to compensate for the jobs lost. From 600,000 employed in 1950 to 540,000 during the following decade, leading to 450,000 Puerto Ricans moving to the United States in search of opportunities. The U.S. Department of Labor lured many Puerto Ricans to the mainland with campaigns such as Trabajo para Usted, a film enticing Puerto Ricans to come with a promise of good-paying jobs. As a matter of fact, my grandfather was one of the first to come during this period to work in the farms in Connecticut. They flew them to New York in huge cargo planes lined row after row with beach chairs. Once here, Puerto Ricans integrated into the American landscape and began to assert their customs and traditions to our new home. Family is the most important structure of Puerto Rican life, with a strong patriarch role as the head of household. Our values lie with the group dynamic. Emphasis is not really on the individual. We take care of one another, show much respect and care for our elders. Traditionally, our parents live with us as they get older. Because our family values are so strong and ingrained into us, it's no surprise that religion plays such an important role in the lives of Puerto Ricans. Language is a significant cultural marker of identity, and although the official language is both English and Spanish, islanders prefer to communicate in Spanish. Even here in the United States, holding on to our mother tongue has developed a linguistic repertoire that involves mixing English and Spanish in everyday talk, called Spanglish. Puerto Ricans are a festive people. In the island, as well as in the mainland, we celebrate every official holiday and then some. Though Thanksgiving turkey is seasoned with adobo, a Puerto Rican seasoning, the traditional holiday menu includes pernil, roasted pork, arroz con gandules, rice and pigeon peas, pasteles, guineos en escabeche, green bananas in escabeche, tembleque, a coconut dessert, arroz con coco, rice and coconut, flan, and our festive drink of coquito. Our Navidades extend from mid-December to mid-January, starting with Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Three Kings, and Las Octavitas, which end January 14. Puerto Rico has 78 municipalities, and each is composed of several barrios, hence the name given to Puerto Rican neighborhoods in New York. In the United States, the largest population of Puerto Ricans resides in the state of New York, with 1,070,558, with the largest concentration of Boricuas in the Bronx, followed by the state of Florida, with a Puerto Rican population of 850,000. Here, in the state of Connecticut, the population of Puerto Ricans stands at almost 253,000. Fairfield County accounts for 55,000 Puerto Ricans, and the largest segment of the Puerto Rican population in Connecticut resides in Hartford, with 100,998. There are far more Puerto Ricans in the mainland than there is on the island. We have 5.1 million Puerto Ricans living in the United States versus 3.5 million living in the island. Now, with the devastation the island is undergoing through, this number will surely rise. Whether in arts, literature, sports, politics, and military service, Puerto Ricans have made their mark to the fabric of this nation. Our influence is seen throughout our music, our neighborhoods, and the array of people who make a huge part of the diverse landscape that it is the United States of America.